Alright, fellas, I've been on that YouTube grind, and let me tell you, I'm not getting enough sleep. Alright, we have a lot of news to go over for today. As always, I'm going to divide it into sections. Timestamps will be provided in the bottom. I'm going to link all the sources so you can see it for yourself. We're going to start with new hardware / new software, whatever new. And then we're going into bugs, fixes, updates. And then we'll go into user creations and channel spotlight at the end. Oh, and buyer advice right after the new hardware. Alright, why don't we get into it? So, there's been some drama with Xbox. Oh my goodness, this is wild, but there are a lot of rumors coming out. One of the rumors that I've been hearing is that Xbox is leaving the console business and also bringing over their first party titles to Sony. And there were grown men who are probably a little bit older than me or same age. They had like gray beards and they were almost crying, and I was like, anyways, there's another rumor that there will be a new Xbox on track for 2026, and that there will be a handheld version. There's some speculation that it might run like the same level of hardware as the Xbox Series S. So I think everyone's looking at Steam and they're like, wow, if you make a handheld that runs all the same games at lower specs and you keep the person in your ecosystem, that it's worth to do it. And now everyone's jumping on the handheld bandwagon. Anyways, this was from user Content Beep, and it was from the website AltChar. Alright, I'll give my take. It's completely unfounded. I'm just making stuff up, but this is my line of thought. I think Microsoft for the longest time has been wanting to exit out of the hardware business. They see the future. The future is all digital to them. Not only that, the future is all digital plus streaming. So I think, in my opinion, Microsoft's new console is Game Pass. They want you to subscribe to their platform and then download the games and in the future stream it. And I think they're going to aim for streaming because with streaming, you have way more control over what the user does. If the user has to download the game, they still have the files and they can do whatever they want with it. But if you're streaming the game to them, they have way less control. So personally speaking, I'm an advocate of owning what you have so that no one can take it away from you. But it is very convenient to be able to download stuff and stream it. But we'll see where this goes. In my opinion, I don't think it really matters either way for Microsoft, as long as they have Game Pass, because they've been pushing Game Pass. So I think they're going to spend more time and effort trying to get people to subscribe to Game Pass somehow. Okay, Russ from Retro Game Core has released his Retroid Pocket 4/Pro Starter Guide. It's pretty darn good. It's very beefy. It's over an hour long, and there's some stuff in there that's kind of new. Joey's retro handhelds went into it a little bit, but you can install Odin tools and Obtanium on your Retroid Pocket 4, and it'll make it a lot better. And yeah, if you have the device, there are a lot of people who bought it. You can go check this guide out and get set up. Alright, this is from user Alternative Spite 11. So the RG556 is on sale now. The price is $175 plus shipping. And yeah, so there's a lot of speculation, and thankfully, there were some quick look videos. Now this is from poster Nari Nari, and this is the official unboxing video from Ambernick. That's why when I see YouTubers as well, and it feels more like an ad than a review, it also kind of rubs me the wrong way, because at the end of the day, it's all about providing a service to the consumer so they can get the best product and make the best decision. And if you omit information, which I think is the same as lying, you harm the consumer. Alright, moving on. This is from the YouTube channel Retro Handhelds, and they have a first look video at the RG556. I didn't know this channel existed. There's so many channels doing this stuff, and it's cool to see what other people are doing. We also have Retro Game Core also made a video on the RG556. Essentially, it seems like it's sort of on par with the Retro Pocket 4, the non-Pro edition, and at that price, I'm like, why not just get the 4 Pro at that point? Anyways, some minor takeaways. I'm not gonna summarize the entire video so you can go watch it, but his complaint was the plastic felt cheap. He bought 2 units and the screens were not identical. They They were slightly different, so we don't know what the QA QC procedures like, uh, as always. But yeah, might be something to think about. All right, this is from user Butterbeans36532. We have new information about the AYANEO Pocket S. This is from the website notebookcheck.net. And yeah, if you scroll down here, it's gonna run a Snapdragon G3X Gen 2 chipset, which is pretty darn good. 6-inch 2K screen. And for price estimations, we have information here from Mexican Candy. It's around $220 for pre-orders, and that's just for the down payment. So it's gonna be, at the very least 350-ish, but it's probably gonna be closer to 450, 500. Aya Neo always charges more than you think, and they do this thing that I don't like, but they're like, it's gonna be $300 for the first 50 people, and then it's gonna go up to 350. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's pretty cool though. The idea of having basically a phone but just dedicated for gaming with physical controls, I think that's pretty neat. It looks sleek and portable and pretty powerful too. So hopefully we'll get more information. All right, here we have a video about the G22CH from Retro Game Core. I don't care about this computer itself, but I saw something neat that I wanted to share. This is a pre-built tiny PC. It's very expensive. It starts at like $1,200. The specs are pretty okay. For pre-builts, it's always going to be more expensive because the company has to hire people to build a PC, ship it out. They have to factor in returns, all of that. So it's always going to have an overhead. Anyways, it's for this app called DuoStream. Now, people are using Moonshine. People are using Moonlight and Sunshine to stream games to their handheld consoles and having great success. They're saying it works better than the built-in streaming service for Steam. But this was a little bit different in that it creates different seats. So essentially, two people could be using the same PC, but they have their own screen and their own keyboard inputs. So I thought that's really cool. If you have a beefy enough PC, you can use this app, and someone could be using the desktop, or multiple people could be streaming from it, and they each get their essentially own virtual PC, sort of. It's not virtual; it's separating the inputs and the outputs for the display. So technology is amazing. All right, this post is from Illigin. I hope that's right. I can't tell if it's an I or L. But this is about the Orange Pi Neo, and it is running Manjaro Linux. I don't know if it's Manjaro. I don't know. I can't talk properly. Anyways, if you go to the website, you can see that it's running the 78040U, which is a very powerful processor. And you can see the other specs. And it's a standard kind of premium build, 512 gigabytes of storage, 2 terabytes, 50 watt hour battery, pretty good. Hall effect sensors, 7-inch, screen. It's a little bit more squarish than 1080p. So there are some people interested in their products, but I'm not hearing a lot of news. So we'll see when and if it comes out. Okay, now we're going to buyer advice. There was a lot of posts here and kind of made my brain think. I gotta be honest, I'm broke and I want to review these handhelds. But I was like, I don't know how to do it. And I was thinking of like seriously dumpster diving. Going to a Best Buy and diving in the dumpster. So I looked it up and it's illegal because if the dumpster is on like a private lot, you can't go into there, legally. So, but if the dumpster is on public ground, it's fair game. Anyways, this is from user Eater Computer. And this guy found a Miyu Mini Plus for $7 at the bin store. If you don't know, this is not available in all countries. This is something in the US, but it's not available in all cities. Essentially, all the returns from retailers like Amazon, it could be stores too, like Target, Walmart, they get a massive bin and it's just unmarked. And it's just products lying there and it's massively discounted. 99.99% is trash. So if you're thinking that you're gonna get something good, the chances are very low. Just gonna be super honest with you. But this guy gives you some advice to get the most out of it. So here's the bin store meta. Find a bin store. step one. And then you got to figure out the schedule. So when the inventory comes in, that's when you want to go, and you want to go there as early as possible. He gives some really good advice. Download the transparency app, the Amazon app, or a barcode scanning app. And then sometimes it's just boxed, so you can't see what's inside, and you have to use the app to scan it to see what it is. Is this worth it? Probably not, but if you're broke and you have some time, but you have a little bit of cash, maybe, you know, it's a way to get something. Again, don't have high expectations. These bin stores are usually trash, but once in a while you might find a good deal. Okay, this is the Retro Tech Dad, and he reviewed a product, the Lenovo ThinkSmart View, and it's a $40 tablet. Essentially, like for video conferencing, you can use it for like a digital photo frame, but it can run PS1 games and N64 games pretty well. But the cool part is you can put it vertically and have a little mini arcade. So for $40-ish, that's not a bad deal, you know, an emulation station plus arcade station. If you're like an arcade fan and you wanted a, you know, mini arcade setup, you know, it's so cheap. You might want to check it out. This kind of leads into like, if you can think outside the box, you can save a lot of money and get what you want. So, you know, it's a little bit difficult because, you know, when you're in this subreddit, when you're in, you know, the mindset of like, I need to get this device, I need this device. Reality is, there might be devices that are perfect for you that you just don't want to contemplate because it doesn't look cool, or, you know, what, whatever it is. If you keep an open mind, you can find something that will suit you, that will not break your wallet, and be, you know, attainable, something you can get. All right, here I included this. This is a post from Mr. Mannerd. Thank you for posting this, by the way. This guy is saying that you can use a third-party switch dock with the Retro Pocket 4 Pro. So if you were wanting a dock and you have one for your Switch or a different device, you can check it out and see if it works for your, you know, Retro Pocket 4, because you don't have to buy another dock then. Okay, so this is something that kind of, you know, I didn't really think about, but they have their Steam Deck docked here. And it's a pretty neat setup, and it made me think, you know, there are some use cases that are not applicable to the average person. So for me, I'm just thinking like, oh, if you want to play it, you're either playing it at home or you're playing it on the plane. If you have a commute, you're playing it on the train or the bus. Or like you put it in your pocket and you pull it out for like short 10-minute gaming sessions. There's some people that are doing some wild things where they need a specific device that doesn't really fit into what normal device would tell them to get, right? So I was like, wow, how do you even think about this sort of stuff? But yeah, it's kind of nice seeing other people set up that, you know, their setups are in some crazy places or situations, or people just use things differently, you know? So I was like, wow, that's kind of neat. That kind of fits into my advice in that, you know, if you don't have to get what everyone else is getting, and you don't have to use it the way everyone else is using. Okay, this is from user Rafa78, and the reason why I posted this was a lot of people seem to kind of stress too much about aspect ratio and resolution. And the reason why this chart doesn't really help is that, you know, different systems may have different native aspect ratios. For example, the Super Nintendo's native aspect ratio is 8:7, and it's not 4:3. But the thing is, all the consoles that came out during the CRT era are gonna output into a 4:3 resolution, whether you like it or not. So the resolutions might be different too. The crazy thing is, the developers who are really paying attention, they accounted for the pixel stretch, because it's not a square pixel, it's a rectangular pixel, and the aspect ratio is also different. So then they made their graphics in such a way where when they output it onto a CRT, it gets stretched into the perfect image. And there's a lot of tests people do where they'll draw a circle, and if it looks normal on the CRT, you know, they did a good job. So this guy, Roland47, linked some videos, and I thought it was an interesting watch. This is from the YouTube channel Displaced Gamers, and there's a lot of talk about how the technology actually works and what developers had to do. It's actually very fascinating, and if you have some time to kill, you can go into another rabbit hole. For me though, in my opinion, I don't think it makes sense to worry about this too much. If you're a purist, you're already gonna have a CRT, the original hardware, and either the original games or run it on a very nice flash card. So this isn't gonna apply to purists. But in terms of like where aspect ratio or resolution comes into play is if it's more squarish, then you're gonna want like a squarish screen or a big enough, wider screen. Or like let's say you're playing a game that's more wider and you have a square screen, then you're gonna have a lot of black bars, right? Reality though, I don't think it matters too much. When I see people playing it, it's just they just have fun with the game. So don't stress about it too much. I think the biggest thing to worry about is will the screen be big enough for you? That's pretty much it. Okay, now we're going into bugs, updates, and fixes, and we have a lot of news coming out about the Retro Pocket 4 trigger buttons just breaking. So, as I understand it, the cause of this is there's a little spring, and the spring is super weak, and it'll just snap. And so, this is posted by user French Augmented 6. As you can see, that trigger is dead. We have a lot of people posting videos about how to fix it or their triggers breaking. So this was posted by Kevin Demo, and he made a YouTube video here about how to fix it. Essentially, the fix is to buy the same trigger springs for the PlayStation controller, and then you can replace it in your Retro Pocket 4 Pro. Problem is, this is pretty difficult to do if you're not really tech savvy. You're gonna want needle nose pliers and bend the spring down, and then you can install it. I saw a post where a guy went through like, I don't know, five springs. It's not an easy fix for everyone. That said, if you do email Retroid, they should mail you a backplate with the triggers already installed. So if your triggers broke, fellas, don't worry. You should get that replaced. And if you're worried about fixing it yourself, Retroid should make it easy by just mailing you an entire backplate with the triggers already installed on it. That said, if your trigger's broke and you're at a loss at what to do, if you have a controller available, you can connect to the Retro Pocket 4 Pro using a controller and play. It's not ideal, but you can at least play your games. Anyways, that said, there's this mad lad, Macakay. Hopefully I said the name right. Sorry if I butcher your names, guys. Anyways, this mad lad took a pen spring and then shaped it into a trigger spring. And I was like, wow, I didn't even think about that. That's so creative. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, now this is something that I wanted to do, but I'm gonna tell you guys why I didn't. But you can sync your files, your save files, and your save states between the Miu Mini Plus and the Steam Deck, or any device. There's multiple ways to do it, but sync thing is what most people use. And there's a video if you want to set it up from Virus Text. I think this is the video that comes up for sync thing. Anyways, the reason why I don't connect my devices to the internet, to my home network, is I don't trust them. I haven't seen any security, specialist do analysis of the device connecting to the network and what it's doing exactly. I'm afraid of the device, hijacking stuff, monitoring stuff. So I don't connect it to the internet at all. But if you don't worry about that, you're like YOLO, here you can sync your save states. I do it the old-fashioned way by taking my SD card out, putting it on my PC, and copying the save states over. It is very convenient, so if you want to do that, y'all can go ahead. If you're paranoid about security like me, then it might be a consideration for you. I don't want to connect the device until, someone can tell me how to check what's coming out from the device. Now, before people chime in and say every device is, spying on you, Windows, yeah, I know, and I'm going down a rabbit hole where I'm like, how do I reclaim my privacy? And I am considering installing Linux. I don't know which distro to use. I heard Mint was pretty easy. I don't really use a lot, so I think most versions of Linux will work out, and I don't mind using a command prompt. I did a lot of coding back in the day, so it's not going to bother me too much. But yeah, I looked up stuff like how do I get privacy on my phone and all of that. And the general thing that I've come to is that you just gotta get off the internet. If you want to stay on the internet and maintain privacy, it's next to impossible. The amount of trouble you have to go through, like setting up your own DNS server, setting up your own email server, there's so much stuff you have to do, and it's just like, it's not worth it for me. So I'm just like, maybe you just get off the internet, period. One of these days. That's why I love these emulation handhelds, because you can get off the internet. You'll have all these good games and they'll play very well. So I'm rambling because I'm tired. There's something really cool. This is posted by user WaterJ. Woutert? I probably misread this. I'm gonna watch this video later and be like, oh, how you read it was so obvious. How come I missed it? Anyways, this was a cool video. So this guy, he emulated the Game Boy Advance wireless adapter for emulation, and there's a video of this guy playing, I think, Pokemon on two Miu Mini Pluses. It's David Gillen Fandos, and the article is pretty interesting too. This guy seems to do a lot of work on emulators. Yeah, it's hardcore, man. Pretty soon you might see this feature integrated into Onion OS and be used on a lot of different consoles. Alright, this is from user Norcus, and this is about a post enabling, using both SD cards as ROM storage for the R33S, R35S, and R36S with ArcOS. So if that's something that interests you, you can go check it out. Here we have user Chucktown RC51, and this is not something I thought about, nor I care about, but this guy calibrated his ROG Ally screen with the Spider X Pro. So if you don't know, the Spider is essentially a camera that observes the colors that are emitting from your monitor, and then you have software. So basically what it's doing is, this should be red, and the camera checks that it's the right shade of red, It's essentially making sure that the color you see on the monitor is accurate. And so people who would want to use this are usually in the print business, like photography or editing movies, because they want to make sure that their screen is accurate in terms of the color that's being displayed. It's very important. And yeah, so apparently it makes a big difference. And they have the profile right here. I would think that the screens are a little bit different, so I'm not sure if using the profile would work on every device, but I think it might be worth checking out. But yeah, like this guy said it. Yeah, man. Yeah, every screen is a little bit unique, so it's expensive. Maybe you can borrow a Spider if that's something you're looking to do, but from my casual perspective, I don't think it's something that, most people need to do unless the colors are extremely off and it's bothering you. And usually there's like some tweaks that people post on the forums. Okay, this last one from Axe Too Far. This guy was playing New Super Mario on the Miu Mini Plus using Drastic. I've been checking that out lately too, and you know what? Drastic is running okay. It's not perfect, but I'm surprised at the performance. There's a couple ways to fix it. You can delete the save file, which is not ideal, but this guy posted a solution that might help you. So this is from user Boo, and essentially you're pressing the menu plus select button as soon as Onion OS is booted, and it'll bring up the Drastic menu, and you can restart the game from there, and then it might fix the problem. That's cool. I did hear some problems with Drastic on the Miu Mini Plus and certain games where it's not loading or something happens, so it's a little bit wonky. Okay, finally we have user creations. We have so many interesting stuff. I know for most people watching this, it's probably going to be a little bit too much. That's why I'm going to try to condense it into a few big news items and a few interesting ones. But I love reading through the subreddit, and I love seeing what people are posting. This is posted by user Takia Gecko, and this guy is doing a Miu Mini Plus input lag test. So this guy actually soldered an LED, and then when you press a button, the LED lights up. And then using the phone's slow-mo, choose 240 FPS, and then they're checking the latency from the button presses, and it actually made a graph here, which is pretty cool. So I think this is pretty neat. I think the takeaway though is that most devices, the latency is pretty high for the most part. You do get used to it. In terms of playing high latency, I played Apex on Japan servers, and I also played Overwatch 1 on Korean servers. And when you have that much lag, it's not the same as this, but you know, just describing like high lag situations, high latency situations. It doesn't feel good, but you do get used to it. So on the Mini Plus that I've been playing, you know, I haven't been really noticing it because I'm not really paying too much attention. But yeah, for people who are sensitive, they might be bothered by it. I remember there's some posts about people complaining about the lag, the latency on the Odin 2 and the Retro Pocket 4. You might have a bad screen, or you might just be super sensitive. But we don't see a lot of people doing latency tests, and this person did it, so I thought that was really cool. Okay, this is from user Furious, and they made a printable file for a grip for the 35S or the 36S. It's available here. I think that's amazing. I find it neat that these people are making these things and releasing it for free. I think that's so cool. I already know someone's gonna take this and sell it on Etsy. Okay, anyways. This is from user It's Clay Toroki, and I thought this was also awesome. They have a 405M, and it was overheating. We're getting a little bit too toasty, so what they did was they drilled some ventilation holes, and the guy put in this as a filter so dust doesn't get in, and basically just making it try to run cooler. And I thought that was really cool because again, these people, you know, they just see a problem and then they try to fix it. And I'm like, wow, I would have not thought of doing that, you know? There's some people who are interested because they're like, oh, I have a 405M and improving hit dissipation would be a good thing. So this community is neat. I'm not actively in it because I don't have the funds or the means of getting all this stuff or the know-how. I don't have a 3D printer. But just as an observer, it's really cool. Speaking of cool changes, we got user Tom Pratt who made a game switcher for Android. And it's essentially switching between games. It's not perfect. It's a proof of concept. And someone commented here, XK9274, that they shared this with the Onion dev team. So if this could make it onto all Android OSs, that'll be pretty darn neat. Having a really nice functional game switcher would make the experience a lot easier. For me, I don't personally use a game switcher as much because I tend to play only one game until I beat it. Yeah, I'm a little bit different in that, you know, I'm trying to make a review for a game, or I'm only playing one game until I beat it. So it doesn't really apply to me, but I know a lot of people want to have a game switcher, so I think that's a great feature. That's awesome. So many smart people, you know, smart, talented people. All right, this one is from the user The Fog is Burning. They're using the MetaQuest 3 as a monitor for the Steam Deck. Oh yeah, this is neat. I'm guessing there's pass-through, like the cameras are taking the image from outside and passing it through the headset and then overlaying a screen here. It's a very expensive solution, but I guess if you have one, that's pretty neat. Okay, this is from user Eli in the Sky. They made a simple snap-on cover, and it looks pretty clean. So you do need the little foam insert that came with your device. This is for the RG35XX, or you can buy a foam and you know, make it yourself. But yeah, you can grab the file if you want it yourself. Again, I find it so neat that people are just making stuff. The combination of 3D printing and just tweaking with cheap hardware, it's opening a brand new field for the consumer. And I think this is great. I think 3D printers are amazing. I didn't think it would revolutionize, you know, just a hobby so much. There's another video that I'm going to get to, but, you know, just replacing parts that are really hard to find, you can do it yourself now. This is from user Chichello131, and this is a custom loading screen and boot screen for the R36S. I think this looks super neat. Okay, this one is a neat fix. This is something I didn't really consider or see, but this is from user Adventurous Candy 401, and they added a lanyard loop on the Miu Mini. But it's a little bit of a different process. So this actually comes with a hand Dremel to kind of drill a hole into the device. you know? I was like, I've never seen that before. Like, why would you do this? But I think it's neat. It's a new way. So there's two ways to add lanyards. Most of the time it's through the headphone port, and I really don't like that because first of all, you can't use wired headphones, and secondly, it's held there by friction. Um, for most use cases, it should be okay because if it just drops from your hand, it's not gonna, fling the device out. But let's say, you know, there's some amount of force put behind it, it might come off, right? So the other one is to replace the screw on the back with a longer screw, and then it just screws in the back, and that's more secure. But yeah, this is completely new. I think this is the most secure out of both those methods. Drilling a hole and then securing it, attaching it to the inside. I say it does look a little bit cleaner. I don't like the idea of making a hole in my device though. So yeah, that looks pretty secure. Okay, wait, now we have a funny post. I see posts like this every once in a while. This is from user Mamerson 2023. Any luck with garlic, onion, tomato, pickles, lettuce, whatever. And then they post a handheld. I do get a little chuckle every time I see it. Oh, what happened? No, they removed this post. Okay, I will summarize it, but this is from user Let Me Solo Her from the Steam Deck subreddit, and let me tell the story as best as I can remember. It was a very interesting story, but this person was gonna sell the Steam Deck, and they're just waiting in the car in a parking lot, and then some dude snuck up and grabbed it out of the car and ran. And so the guy tried to chase him down, but he was too fast. So called the cops, and this guy actually did a lot of work. This detective tracked this person down, right? So they went to, all the places, and there was like a McDonald's where the dude ran into the McDonald's, came out, just like Assassin's Creed, flipped the flipped the hood, and then his mom picked him up, apparently. So then, the guy sold it to someone else who sold it to someone else. Long story short, the guy tracked it, and then he got it back for the dude and gave it back to him at his workplace. And I was like, that was a wild story. I didn't do justice to the story, but I'm a little disappointed. Very sad now. Okay, now for the channel spotlights. I mentioned this channel before. I thought it was really neat. Macho Nacho Productions on YouTube. And this person, his name is Tito, goes over hardware mods mostly. And the reason why I really like this channel is that the guy gives credit to the people making the mods. If you do a lot of YouTube, people are really, I don't know if lazy is the right word, but they avoid giving credit where credit is due. If you look at my videos, I try to link everything that I use. So not only to credit people, but like to make sure that people can check out where I get my information. Because I can make a mistake, The other guy links all the people who are responsible if possible. Apparently it's from a guy named Wes, and they're doing some great work where they're creating high quality scans of shells and components, and then editing them and cleaning them up so that you can use a 3D printer to print those parts. He commissioned, I think, PCBWay to create a Sega Nomad shell, and I was like, wow, this is great, because I don't want anything lost to time. If you really like gaming, it doesn't have to be gaming, but if you really like anything, it's very sad when you lose it to time. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool, and the guy brings on the people who worked on the mods for an interview, and I think that's really cool. I rarely see that in other channels. But yeah, I think that's neat. I think it's neat to see people who are very interested and excited about a hobby just come together and just geek out over it together. Okay, that's gonna be it. Wow, this was a very long episode. Yeah, I think I'm gonna make shorter ones from now on. I'm just too tired. I made a review on the Mew Mini Plus if you want to check it out. It did pretty well for my channel. My channel has no numbers, no one knows who I am, no one cares, and that's the way it should be. But I'm used to getting like 10 views per video. That one got like 1,000, I think. So that's awesome. I do want to make more reviews and more guides and stuff, but I think I'm gonna get a yellow Datafrog SF2000. I saw that and I was like, I need this. It's a different color. It was like a yellow green. I was like, oh my god, it's perfect. Um, I do want to get all the handhelds, but I just don't have the financial means to do so. So I'll wait. I'll keep making the content that I can, and hopefully get to the point where I can cover all the handhelds. But yeah, that's gonna be it. I'm so tired. I've been grinding videos for a long time every day for the past few days, and it's affected my sleep schedule, and I can feel it in my brain. My memory is not all there. I don't know how this video is gonna turn out. It's probably gonna be unwatchable, but yeah. So everyone who does watch it, thank you so much. I appreciate it. If there's any way I can make it better for you, please feel free to let me know in the comments below. I have some ideas, mainly condensing the amount of news items and focusing on ones that people will be more interested in, and then have a few items that I'm interested in that no one will be interested in, and also do a better job of kind of elaborating on what the news item actually is. Because the reason why I keep it short is it's instead of informing people what's actually happening, it's more like this happened, and if you want more info, you can check out more info. That's why I always direct people to other channels that do a way better job than I could ever. Wow, what did I just say? That's why I direct people to channels that, do a way better job, and I can't match the quality of those channels. Like Retro Game Core is awesome. Um, there's a lot of channels that I don't even know exist that do a really good job. So it's way better if I can direct people to channels that are doing a really good job, and I'm kind of more of a curator of sorts, if you will. I'm still gonna make my own reviews and stuff because I want to, but it's not gonna be the same or as good. Anyways, before I keep rambling, thank you so much for dropping by and watching. I really do appreciate it. And as always, hope you guys are staying safe and sane out there. And catch you guys next time.